All About the Archers. I'm Philippa.
And I'm Katie.
And we're here to talk to you all about what's happened in the week so far. We will be covering episodes on Sunday the 7th of July, Monday the 8th and Tuesday the 9th of July. There will be spoilers. You have been warned. First of all, I must welcome all our listeners, new listeners from Radio 2, from listening to me with Ramesh Ranganathan on Saturday. Welcome. Very glad to have you here. We've had a huge and dramatic increase in the number of listeners, so you're all very welcome here. It was a lot of fun. And we won, Katie. We won the pitch.
Yeah,
the Archers
quite
won.
right too.
Yeah,
I mean, was there any doubt? I mean, come on.
If you're wondering what on earth I'm talking about, very briefly, I went on Radio 2 to pitch my passion, which of course is the Archers. It was put to the vote and we won, so that was very exciting. And Ramesh has said he's going to come on this podcast, so we look forward to it. But anyway, let's get straight in. Katie, what did you think of the week? What did you think of tonight? Do you want to start with faves? Where do you want to start?
Well, one little fave, and from tonight, was just the way that Neil kept describing sitting on hay bales. I've got hay fever, so it's not going to be great, but sitting on hay bales with a beer, just chatting. And that just sounds so lovely. I don't want to do the manual labour bit. I'm not good with that. But I would happily chat with a beer. But it just sounded so perfect. If it wasn't so miserable outside, it would just be so nice to just chill outside after doing all that hard work. Yeah, really loved that idea. I thought it sounded so idyllic and kind of typically Archers. It was a proper throwback to kind of, this is country life and this is what we'd be doing.
Yeah, like that love of the time, and that's time in this season as well. And yeah, I agree, it was lovely. I thought Neil was so nice to hear him this week and all he was saying. But yes, the weather was so good. George has got sunburnt. I mean, that's
lucky him. Yeah,
it'd be rust if it's currently what's going on with all the rain, but never mind. Yeah, so I agree, that was lovely. What other faves have you got?
So other faves was Stella tonight when she was chatting to Pip and was saying about having a day off, and Pip said something like, oh, Rosie would never let me have a day off or whatever, and Stella was just like and you can really tell she's getting a little bit fed up with Rosie, which is a little bit awkward.
Pip is very bright and Tiggerish and wow, but Hannah's
Rosie.
Still living with Stella because Stella was borrowing Hannah's suit, so that's nice that that's still happening. But yeah,
I'd like to hear more of them just kind of hanging out. I think I'd like to hear a bit more Hannah and Stella. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of that. But my other fave was Lillian's birthday. Didn't even realise it was her birthday.
Yes, 77 years old. Happy birthday, Lillian. Very
she got
good.
nail jewels, which really excited me. I've just got visions, you know, when you see them online and there's just these huge, can't do anything now. There's just, can't do washing up, can't do anything at the stables. But she's just got all these things hanging off her nails. Oh, absolutely loved it. I just thought it was genius.
Well, she's got Carlotta now, so she doesn't have to do quite as much at the stables. But
exactly.
Yes. Yeah, I thought that was great. It. And I personally, when I say, you know, oh, it's my birthday, I don't want anything. I don't get me anything. I mean the exact opposite of that. And I think that's what Lillian meant as well when she finally discovered that Justin had got her a present.
But we never found out what it was.
It's got to be something expensive, surely.
I know. I was trying to work out what it could be, but I think jewellery or something. But I did like his line where he kind of said, wait till you see my croissants.
Yes.
But
Food. Yes, I'm sure I've missed some. I've got chocolate-covered strawberries, soggy sandwiches, birthday croissants, mini pastries, biscuits, biscuit remnants, crisps, kitten and cat food.
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, there were so many mentions of croissants.
I know.
Like every episode was sponsored by croissants.
And only mini croissants and mini pastries today as well. Everything was mini today. So, yeah, fair enough.
Really weird.
The one thing that made me laugh was thinking about the meeting with the brilliant sound effects people. You know, they probably went into it saying, oh, I think we've got a really easy week this week, nothing too much to worry about. And then, no, you've got to get a duck that looks like Jacob. You've got to have a Tedder with something going wrong with it. And they're just like, right, put the coffee on. It's going to be one of those weeks. I felt very sorry for them. Yes, a bearing going in the Tedder. Who knew? I didn't even know what a Tedder was until this week.
I had to Google it. And it said that it's got moving forks to aerate or woofle the hay to speed drying. And woofle is my new favourite word.
Woofle the hay.
Woofle.
Why not? That could be the name of this episode. I wasn't sure what to call it. But then will that make... Oh, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what else comes up. Yes. Okay, what other faves have you got this week?
I think that's most of my faves, but I can move on to my flops unless you've got any faves.
I've got more faves, yes. There's more things to say. I was glad that Alistair isn't scared of the water anymore. Alistair. I was glad that that's something. I love PC Chris saying something doesn't add up. Like, yes, Chris, come on. I was it a fave? The fact that George is back to his old ways. You know, we had this time and I was thinking, has he sort of going through a redemption, and has he taken on board all the bad things he's done? And is this a new George? No, not at all. No. And the minute I heard Neil say, 5 miles max, I was like, this is not going to end well. And it didn't. So, yeah, that was a fave, actually. It's sort of, true to course and acting as you would expect them to. And Paul, I love Paul. I really... him getting over Etienne, I was like, yes, go on. But when he said he's an old soul, I thought, yes, Paul, me too. I don't want to... Yeah, I don't want to go out and go clubbing or anything. I just want to sit at home with a cup of tea and read my book. So, yes.
Eat crisps on the sofa.
Yes.
Perfect. I agree with that.
Biscuits, maybe, but there we go. Do you think Paul knows about Alistair? Because I think he still doesn't. I think Paul's just so fixated on this sort of Disney-like relationship of his parents. He doesn't see it.
He's totally oblivious to it. And I didn't actually twig how close Denise and John must live to Ambridge, because I don't know why, but I think I just thought that they were further away. But the fact that John is so nearby, they really need to be careful, because they do a lot outside and out and about and together and stuff. And I'm surprised he's not caught them yet. I feel it's one of my predictions. I think John is going to spot them, or Alistair's going to let something slip when he's talking to Paul, because something's going to happen, because they can't keep it quiet that long. But yeah, I feel like John is closer than I'd realised, and now I feel quite stressed.
And I mean, Alistair is saying so much. Yes, your mother told me, you like this type of food, or, your mother told me that you were like this as a baby. There was just too much information. Not that she actually said those things, but I just think that surely Paul must realise, why does Alistair know, my inner ankle measurement? There's something is wrong here. There's so many warning signs. But yeah, I don't think that's going to go well. Yeah, Alistair thinks that Paul suspects, and I don't think he does at all. But there we are.
No, I think he's totally oblivious.
Let's flop onto our flops. Tell me.
Oh, it was Denise and Alistair. When they were in that boat, it sounded like they were in the strongest torrent ever. It did not just sound like a river. I felt like they were about to go over Niagara Falls. It was so loud in the background. I didn't know what was going to happen. But yeah, it all got a bit too intense. It was a bit kind of, one minute Denise has been kind of keeping Alistair a little bit at arm's length, and then the next they're on a boat together and she's going to show him her amazing swimming skills and all of that. And it was just kind of, where did this all escalate from? Because, all right, they've been away on this training thing, but I feel like more might have happened on this training course than we all thought it had. Because they just seemed to be very together all of a sudden.
Yes, and when they were talking about how good the last night was, I just thought, no, I don't want to hear this. It's no, thank you. Yuck, I've written down. And Alistair looking at a Mediterranean holiday. Too soon. What's going on? No, and surely Paul will realise by that point, No. And this game they had of looking at ducks and deciding...
It was clouds.
I thought it was ducks.
I've got cloud. I've got a Jacob-shaped cloud, question mark.
I thought it was a Jacob-shaped duck.
That's even better. Let's go with ducks. Yeah.
No, this is... hang on a minute. So we have just paused to listen and I'm completely wrong. It's a cloud, not a duck. I thought they were a duck spotting. Like different... Okay. Well, I don't know if that's any better, actually.
Really?
If you find
It's both
clouds
bizarre.
that look like people... I thought it was a duck. I thought we actually have a Jacob... Oh, well, there we go. That's even more of a flop for me. Go on, any other flop? Save me, Katie, quickly. I've mortified myself.
Romantic trip out. Do you really want to be discussing your work colleague going, that cloud looks like Jacob, so Jacob's on my mind. But, you know, I'm having a nice time with you.
Oh,
Very odd.
dear, oh dear.
Another flop was Carlotta shortening names, because that really gets on my quick. I really don't like people saying that, because I get Kate quite a bit if people don't really know, and I'm not a huge fan of Kate. Some people get away with it, but yeah, it really, unless I've said Kate, don't just assume. It does wind me up, especially in the workplace. So, oof, Carlotta, not a fan.
Completely agree. I do not like that. If I am Philippa, if you don't have permission, you cannot call me anything other than Philippa. So yeah, I agree. Some people are into that sort of thing, but no, not me. Emma was a flop for me because she kept going on to Chris about how happy she was to have Martha. It was no trouble to have her, really happy to help. But it was Clary and Neil doing all the looking after. Emma actually didn't spend a minute with Martha.
No, I thought that. I can't think of one point where Emma's babysat or helped particularly. She's too busy chopping limbs and trees and goodness knows what. So, don't really want Martha around that, to be perfectly honest.
Yes, they had their biggest job this week. So I was thinking, oh gosh, that's 2 twigs instead of 1 they've had to cut down. Dear, oh dear.
Yes. We don't want cliffhangers on Friday, though, with a siren in the background.
No, we don't. We really don't. And Tilly and Aidan are a thing now.
Apparently.
Not George. Who
No.
knew? Any other flops at all?
Well, I had George being back to being George, so you had it as a fave and I had it as a flop. So yeah, because it was just kind of, oh, here we go. He's back.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, can I just ask you about this 6-pack that we have been told about so many times, more than we had the word Tedder this week. We've heard about George's chest. I thought George just ate pies and sausage rolls and didn't go to the gym. I mean, what is...
Yeah.
Are you aware of this?
No, I didn't think he was ripped. I thought he'd kind of be muscly because he's all doing all this manual labour and stuff like that. But yeah, not ripped enough to have a 6-pack because he's down the ball having pints and stuff like that. He's not someone that I would see as kind of a gym bunny in there all the time. No.
No, we've not had him measuring out his protein and eating 20 eggs or chicken breasts or anything. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Bit perplexed about that one. Will Chris end up with Hannah is my other question.
Briefly, I think. I think he's going to end up with Hannah briefly, and then either Alice comes out of rehab and realises she still loves him, or Alice comes out of rehab and Chris realises he still loves her, and then they split up, I think. I think there will be a fling, I think, but nothing more. You?
Yeah, I hope not, but I think you could be right. I think... Oh, well, it's just... no, I want them to be okay. I want Chris and Hannah, because Alice and Chris don't work. But he's truly smitten, isn't he?
He is.
Speaking of being smitten and stars, that's the worst link I've ever done.
Not for Lauren.
Yes. Who's your star of the week? Who is your one and only?
I really struggled this week. I didn't really have anyone that's shone out, so I've just gone for Lillian because it's her birthday and I love her and she's my best friend and she had nail art done and big gems and that's what I want. I want to be able to not do anything and just have stupidly big pattern nails.
Fabulous. Well, I had written the duck that looks like Jacob, but it's not a duck, it's a cloud, so I've completely failed at that one. So I'm going to say Neil. Love Neil. Voice of reason. perfect. He knows how to use
Yeah.
a tedder, and that's good for me. So prediction. Do you have a prediction or
Yes.
predictions?
Yeah, I've got a couple. So I've got, when we heard about the kittens at the end of tonight's episode, George is going to use the kittens as the new Bartleby replacement on social media. And that'll suddenly become his new obsession.
Good. Yes.
New thing. So, yeah, whether it's voiced by loads of random people being a different kitten, I have no idea. But he's going to cling on to them, and they're now going to be his new social media obsession. I've got Carlotta, Alice sabotage. I don't know. Something is going to happen with Carlotta. And I think when Alice comes out of rehab, I don't know. I feel like she's going to do something. She'll either leave and Alice will take over again and leave something that's not been done right to make it look like Alice, or I don't know. I don't trust her. Shortening the names, just don't trust her.
Yes, that's it.
Not a fan. And then I've got that George and Eddie might chat. I've got a feeling that George needs to tell someone, and I think he's going to tell Eddie everything, and Eddie's going to tell him to keep quiet.
Oh, because even this week we heard about the fruit cider again, and George finding out that this is a real issue for Chris, and he's going on about it. So again,
Yeah.
I thought George would quieten down even more, but no, he went back to his old George. So yes, maybe. Who knows?
I feel like he's got to tell someone, so it's going to come out at some point.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm having to revise my prediction based on the duck cloud scenario. So,
Don't tell me.
so my prediction is that Kate will see the cloud that looks like Jacob and fall in love with it. So, yeah, not a duck. How did I think that there was a duck flying round, swimming
It
round?
was so loud. The duck noises were so loud.
Yes, but they did
Yeah.
say the word cloud and I missed that, even though I've listened to it 1,000 times. So, yes. And the other one, being really realistic here, is that Tilly Button will get a speaking part and be a witness in Alice's court case.
Oof, I love it. Definitely.
I think yours are far superior to mine, Katie, so well done. Now, coming up on Saturday, we have an interview with a cast member, very exciting. The interview is with Ryan Kelly, who plays the wonderful Jazza. Jazza McCreary is coming on the podcast. We've recorded that, and that will be out first thing Saturday morning. Very, very excited about that. Next Tuesday, it'll be Quentin and I. I should just say, get better, Rob. You've been through a lot, and we hope you get better very soon. And I think that's everything. So it's a goodbye from me.
And a ta-ra from me.
Goodbye, everyone.